All right, and we are back live with the Blame Girl podcast with,
Mr. Terry Wayne.
and we got Gabby in the house. What's up, Gabby?
Hey, how are you?
How was your weekend?
Uh, Not the greatest. I had a college friend passed away this weekend, and then I went on a date with an Italian guy. So, uh, a little bit of the worst of everything.
The whole thing wasn't great, or the date wasn't great also, or
Oh, the date was interesting. Everything it just ends up being interesting in my life nowadays. But yeah, my one girlfriend usually comes up from Miami every weekend on Fridays to spend Fridays with me, and she said that she wasn't coming up this weekend, so she showed up for our date, and then he got to date both of us the whole time.
so you brought a girlfriend on a date with you? Was he
No,
pissed?
she showed up when she said she wasn't coming up to visit me on Friday. So,
How did he take it? Was he a good sport about it, or?
oh yeah, he was great about it. And then he asked me to go out with him again the following night. So we got
Well, of
to.
course he would. I mean, why wouldn't he be excited about this? He's like, oh shit, threesome possibility. What's up?
Exactly. That's what I said to him as soon as Suze walked in too. I was like, "Get this, we're
So did you
down."
go on another date, or
Yeah, we went on a second date. We went out to dinner and
it was just
walked
you?
around on the pier. Just the two of us this time.
That sounds nice. So that was
Yeah.
a good part, I guess.
Yeah, that was the highlight. And then got pretty drunk on Saturday night. So just
Yeah.
all in all, a fulfilled weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking. I will go before Terry since you asked. My weekend was pretty good. Friday I did Swamp Grass Willies for Jackie Sanchez's birthday show. Jeff Quintana came out. Let me tell you, this motherfucker captured that swamp grass audience like I've never seen before. Everybody
Yeah.
was listening. I was like, oh my God, he's so good. Which we're gonna have him on coming up this month. And then so that was a lot of fun. Saturday I just chilled, didn't do anything because I've been kind of busy. And then Sunday last night, another birthday show for Abby Ballin at the Red Light. That was a lot of fun. Jeff was hosting and we roasted Abby, and I went up first, and then Zach Boogerine went up, and I was like, I didn't roast Abby at all. He's mean as fuck, so he roasted Abby pretty bad. And then Jackie, she roasted, and then they opened it up for anyone to roast, and it was good. It was really good. Dom Nessie and Chris Rose showed up out the blue. They roasted
Sounds like
Abby a
it.
little bit. So, Terry, how was your weekend?
Busy. um, just getting. I mean, today was busy too. Like just trying to get everything packed and ready to go. The pod comes on Friday, so everything's about that right
Yeah.
now. I had to get my car cleaned. Selling. I sold it to Carvana, and they come to pick it up tomorrow. So
Oh wow, you sold the car?
Yeah, I'm a little bummed about it, but it made sense.
Yeah.
You
Are
know.
you another one, or are you just gonna be carless for a little bit?
Well, no, we're just using the wife's car at this point.
Oh,
That was the idea, is like we didn't need two cars anymore.
yeah.
And hers is just, newer, less miles, better on gas, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
my soul has died a little, but I had to give up my Challenger. And now we're rolling in a Honda Fit.
You
But
about to be like a house husband without a car. You better be careful. Let her put all that control on you. No, I'm just kidding. Let her put all that control on you.
yeah,
let her
because
do
everybody that knows me knows I'm so easily controlled. So
That's why it's a joke. It's a joke. All right.
yeah.
Are y'all ready to do some blaming?
Oh yes,
I'm-
please.
Thank you, Terry, for your enthusiasm.
Mhm.
All right. So first up, I don't know if y'all saw this week, but both Florida and Texas lawmakers were talking about needing dick and cunnilingus on the House floor. Who's to blame, guys?
Donald Trump.
Always.
I mean, the guy changed politics, right? So now this is what it takes. It used to be, do you know, in the first 100 days of Obama's presidency, you know what the biggest scandal he had was?
The tan
biggest,
pants.
huh?
The tan pants.
No, not even the tan pants. I mean, that was a thing. That's true. But no, in his first 100 days, the biggest scandal was he was seen. It was a press event where they went to a restaurant, it's a burger restaurant, and they said, "Hey, do you have any spicy mustard, like a Dijon mustard?" And then Fox News reported, "Oh, Mr. President, enjoy your fancy mustard." Like that was the big scoop.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's so extreme and so gone over the over the shark.
How do you get from Donald Trump to this? And if you can't tell, it was a prank. Someone played a prank and they wrote someone's name out so it sounds like I need a dick.
Yes, I know. But again, he's made politics a complete joke at this point. It's a complete joke, and
So
and
you
when
saying
you
that
have that, you're going to have
that they
people.
don't take the government seriously anymore, or
What would do you? Because I certainly don't.
it depends on what we're talking about. Sometimes I do. If they trying to cut my Social Security, yeah, I take them seriously. But
well, no, it's a stage show now.
Don't take us seriously, but they have serious ramifications.
I would say social media is to blame.
How do you get social media?
Well, because once, everybody had a Twitter and an Instagram and all these politics were more accessible to everybody, the first set of people I would assume to get after them would be the internet trolls. So as soon as they figured out, oh, I don't have to make memes, I could go online to websites and submit questions under the name Anita Dick, because that's going to make me feel good on the inside. I would say it's social media giving us all this access to people. That's who I would blame, what I would blame.
I agree with that. They're trolling. They're definitely trolling them. But why are conservatives so easily duped? Is it because they lack the education have they never watched the fucking Simpsons on Fox?
They're just not in any sense of the word in the moment. This is all like a pre-programmed thing in their head. I feel it's like Anita Dick. That would have registered with me, while I was reading through it ahead of time. But I'm sure that they didn't get these questions uncensored or, not filtered through at least.
They probably didn't read through them because they don't like to read. So it is an education gap here, I think.
Yeah, well, reading is hard.
Well, and to her point, 20 years ago, without the social media boom, anybody childish enough to want to pull that kind of prank wouldn't know or care about politics. They'd be calling Moe's Tavern for that shit.
Yeah. There you go, Moe's Tavern. I knew it was freaking I don't know. I think they're just dumb and they don't know. They lack any social awareness, and that's why they were easily, because like I say, it wasn't the Democratic politicians that were getting duped. All right, no,
they're nerds, and nerds don't get that kind of humor.
They're not nerds.
Oh, they're nerds.
They're just
that's why they didn't. That's why they didn't pick up on it. They're too naive.
No,
they've never joked around.
So they're stupid. And it's because they hate education, and that is why that now classical artwork is being sent into the corner with literature and drag queens. Classical artwork. They don't want classical artwork at the schools anymore, guys. Who's to blame?
The Pilgrims. They're the ones that started this puritanical society bullshit and linked it with Christ, and now every Christian in America thinks that, oh my God, you can't show a statue with a man's penis. That's vulgar. That's obscene. Oh yeah? Who made it? not the statue. Who made the man's penis? Oh, that same God you're talking about serving? Okay. Well, make sure to tell him that he's vulgar for making it.
And to be clear, it's not just the penis statue. They don't like that Madonna looks sad after giving birth to a baby that she probably was.
I would imagine any woman would look pretty sad after having a baby.
I am sad every time a baby's around me. Get that baby away from me.
No, I mean, having a baby's a lot. Just because, you know, it's Jesus doesn't mean he just slid right out of there pain free.
They want stepfruit wives in their paintings. And I mean, they want dickless men in there? I don't know, in their sculpture.
I would prefer pixelated at least.
But I thought they hated transgendered people, so I don't get it. Like,
well, let's be fair here, because, like, for instance, the David statue, one parent complained, and that's where that started. And we all know at least one over the top crazy person, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't want to lump everybody in together. I mean, my father's evangelical pastor. He has no problem with the statue of David or the painting of Madonna. So let's not, we tend to do that. We take the outskirts, the outliers, and then we paint the whole section like they're all the same, and they're not. Yeah. Yeah,
but you know that a lot of Christians probably have been thinking it, and then, you know, it's like, well, it's art. And now we've gotten to the point to where they can push the fucking envelope. They can get whatever books they want out of the schools. They can get whatever art they want out. They do not want enlightened children. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But I mean, it's not like his dick is huge on the statue. Am I right?
Well,
it's not like it's the centerpiece of the statue. And it's
it is where your eye is drawn, but that's only because of the puritanical society that we've been raised in. We automatically look towards the groin because, oh, you're not supposed to see that. If you go to other countries where their culture isn't like that, they could give two shits about it. I mean, seriously.
Let's talk about why he was like that in the statue, right?
Well,
he ripped off his clothes to go to battle because it was going to be too oppressive. That's what I heard.
Right. A lot of Romans did fight in the nude. You know, the Olympics famously were all held in the nude. Clothes were considered to be constricting or restricting your movement. So, you know, but I think that the bigger issue is basically think subconsciously what you're teaching those kids. You're teaching those kids that the human body, the human form, the same human form that they have, is disgusting and revolting and should be hidden at all times. Like, you're giving your kids a fucking complex about their own body. And the statue of David is supposed to be the picturesque perfection of the human man. So if he ain't good enough, I mean, forget about it. Then kids are starting to think, oh, that's gross. And my mom said that's gross and it's vulgar. I guess my body's gross and vulgar too.
And Gabby, yeah. What do you think? This feels weird. Let me just say this.
Who would I blame?
Who do you blame?
I blame the damn kids. All right. Who's going home from school and complaining about seeing a tiny marble dick? Grow up or just enjoy it privately and don't mention it to anybody. Like, you know, I think it's the kids' fault. And I think it's the parents that overreacted, you know, just trying to accommodate their needy fucking kids. These kids, give them more dick is what I say.
Yeah. Show them
Can
more.
we clip that, please? Can we clip that?
Okay, that's
These
fair.
kids, give them more dick.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
We can't cut it out. We're live. I don't know if you meant like just make a clip of her saying.
Yeah. We're going to use that a lot.
Yeah.
I heard that it's embarrassed Italians because his penis wasn't very big. So they're like, it's not a good option.
The principal who got fired over this, the mayor of the city in Italy where the David is at in Florence, the mayor of Florence reached out to the principal and said, if you want to see it in person, we'll pay to fly you over here and give you accommodations. for you to come see it in person, just because they were so offended by that. And this isn't a new thing, by the way. If you go back to the 90s, I hate to bring it back to The Simpsons again. They did a whole episode on this. They did an entire episode on the Statue of David.
Predict everything, don't they?
Yeah.
Well,
The
they
Simpsons
came
have done
and
everything.
they said the Statue of David was coming, and the religious nut jobs in Springfield were all in an outcry that the kids were taking a field trip to see it in person.
Well, I'm just trying to think, are there any nude statues in America? I mean, all the fucking Civil War heroes have clothes on usually. So anyway.
Well, see, how about that? That's the way to get, if you want Confederate statues and monuments taken down, just put a couple penises on it, and and then try to let conservatives figure out what the fuck's going on.
Well, I got to tell y'all, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, what the fuck is going on with the next story, okay? I hadn't seen this story at all, but it was featured on 60 Minutes recently, and eBay, they harassed a couple with stalking and death threats. Y'all, who's to blame? This was crazy. And let me just give a little backstory to this. It was a couple that they're called the Steiners. And basically they had this small little website that they rated like sites like Amazon and eBay and whatever. So eBay didn't like that. So they came for them. And they sent an army of people for them. They were sending like pigs' heads and all kinds of stuff, making funeral wreaths, making it seem like they were gonna kill the lady. Why did this happen? How did it get like this? People have been charged, but not all the people. Who's to blame?
I mean, corporate America.
Well, isn't eBay the workaround about that one? Like this all happened through eBay, right?
Well, eBay did it. eBay's corporate people, they called for this. They used their employees to go execute this.
Oh, okay. That's a part, I guess.
Not like just the individual, but
okay. Then what did this lady do? It sounds like she's already to blame. It was a ratings and reviews.
eBay?
Yeah. I could put the blame on her right away. You can't criticize the corporate overlords and not expect to be rained down on, right?
Yes, you can criticize. Like I should be able to talk shit about Target or Amazon for that matter.
Oh, sure.
But I mean, I don't know, because it was a company, it was a company, and they did not like that. It's not even like they were competing with them, but just the fact that they were putting out information about them that was disfavorable, that made.
Yeah, of course. I mean, to think that a big corporation won't go after little, you're just too small, so they won't go after it. The longest running lawsuit in the history of the world was against just a simple couple in England that were protesting against McDonald's because of their unhealthy food and their farms that they would buy from, their treatment of animals and stuff like that. That's it. But it went on for like 18 years.
Did
like
McDonald's harass them and stalk them and threaten to kill the lady?
I don't think they went that far, but it was a form of slap suit, which slap suit is, it's a lawsuit essentially to discourage public participation, meaning criticism, essentially. And yeah, they were basically, they weren't threatening them or harassing them or stalking them, but they were legally and financially trying to drain them by continuing to take them to court and drain them financially. Yeah.
They were the plaintiff in a lawsuit, McDonald's, how they harassed them. Look, that's completely different from actual physical threats and sending funeral wreaths to people's houses.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that a company that's, like the size of eBay would put all that in writing and emails and shit. It's like, come on, man, you're supposed to hire, you know, an outside person to do this kind of crap for you, not send your employees.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly right. And that's the thing. What were the employees thinking when they're like, hey, send a funeral wreath to da 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 da. Go
Well,
by
they were
her
apparently,
and
the
drop off
employees
this.
involved were a part of the security team, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it wasn't outside of their wheelhouse.
Go put this pig's head in there at the house. What?
Well, I mean, three of those employees,
Floppy
three of the
ass?
five or six,
It's fucking
yeah, they were ex-cops. How crazy is that?
The people who ran eBay were ex-cops.
No. The three of the people on the security team that ended up going to jail for this, they were ex-cops.
Yeah, but and that's the problem in this story for me, is that the execs, it doesn't seem like they were held accountable. Gabby, do you have anything to add?
I don't know. I'm still going back to, it's got to be her fault for saying anything mean in the first place. Just be nice.
It's
right.
That's the equivalent in this case.
Gabby's taking the side.
Well, how was she dressed? That's basically what you did. Yeah.
No,
how was she dressed? Maybe she brought it on herself.
I don't know. I hear about these things all the time now. It's just like all too common, it seems, where if somebody has a criticism or a negative opinion or anything that just doesn't shed the right light on a company, a corporation, a influencer, whatever it is, I don't know. It just seems like at this point, the no holding back game is out of control. I wouldn't even go into, going out of my way to give somebody a bad review on something. That's just me, though, only because I wouldn't want a pig head in my mailbox one day.
That's
but
crazy.
yeah,
I give
right.
bad reviews all the time.
That could happen.
Everything's a little bit so sensitive nowadays. It's like, why would I go out of my way to do this negative thing in the first place? To what? eBay? Like, whose opinion? Like, it doesn't matter her opinion, but it's surprising the backlash that this woman got from it. But she just kept her mouth shut.
Wow. I give bad reviews all the time, and not to be mean. It's just I'm trying to warn other people online, like, hey, you might want to, because I use those reviews when I do things,
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
I mean, they can put a pig's head outside my house if they want.
They had a whole website that did these reviews. That was their job, to do these reviews and to criticize all these entities. And for some reason, eBay decided, no, bitch, you need to shut up. And it's just fucked up. I can't believe that.
All of this from just a negative review. Was there like an article she wrote up? Was it like, that's what I'm not understanding. It seems like such a severe retaliation, but at the same time,
yeah,
it really depends on what it was.
They publish a news website called E-commerce Bites. All right. And people would write to them and they'd say, we're having a problem with Amazon or eBay. And they'd put up a section where they could just be like a conduit. And that's like a review place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they were. They had 600,000 readers. That was their livelihood for decades. And eBay came for them with pig.
How arrogant are you, though? How arrogant do you have to be as a person or a company to think that you somehow have a right or deserve to go through your whole existence without criticism? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like,
yeah, that's crazy, because it's almost like, damn, did she say that? Did she call you a pedophile? Like, what did she say about you that made you start sending this woman funeral wreaths? It doesn't make any sense.
Can't imagine the review was
that type of
critical.
Is he just a sociopath? They say sociopaths are usually in the exec positions, and that's exactly something a sociopath would do, is treat an old couple like that.
Yep.
So I don't know.
It sounds like something our governor would do.
Yeah. You know what? Our governor, who's also banning books in Texas, and this could maybe affect us in the near future. A judge actually ordered books returned to public libraries that were actually banned. Who's to blame? And let me just say this. I didn't realize they were also banning books in public libraries. I knew they were doing it in schools, but public libraries? Why?
Greg Abbott is to blame. That's who's to blame.
Well,
He's the one that, because they don't actually give a shit about these books, and they don't really care about any of this. First of all, if you're a kid or an adult or whatever, and it's 2023 and you're reading, good for you. I don't really care what you're reading. I don't care. You could read Mein Kampf if you wanted. Just thank God somebody's reading.
yeah, she
That's
say that.
first of all.
Thank you, Terry.
I'm just saying, thank God somebody's reading something. And secondly, it's just a political posturing move. You know, we're gonna get ban things and this and that. Yeah, as if Amazon doesn't exist and you can't just get anything you want off the damn internet at any moment in time.
The story is the books are being ordered returned, and they were banned from the public libraries due to LGBTQ topics and
And
racist
racist topics. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's his fault because he should have never banned them in the first place.
Like, kudos to this judge for doing the right thing. What do you think about this story, Gabby?
I think the same thing. If it was Greg Abbott that did it, I don't believe that anybody should be able to control banning books in public libraries, especially. But yeah, I disagree with that move altogether. So Greg Abbott as well. I agree with that.
It's a total
Well,
infringement on the
for a group that hates being compared to the Nazis, conservatives really do mimic a lot of their shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, book burnings were one of the major things that came out of Nazi Germany in the beginning, as they took over the country, was anything that was considered too liberal, anything that was considered inflammatory, meaning written by Jews or had anything to do with Judaism. Yeah, they just immediately burned that shit. And if people like Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis had their way, they'd fucking hold a book barbecue, because they don't want people to be intelligent. They don't want intelligence in the schools. They don't want intelligence in the populace. They want stupid, compliant,
unempathetic, because I think it's a big part of why they don't even want the LGBTQ books there, because they're like, you know, they don't want anyone to read it by chance and end up with empathy for a transgender person experience.
Yeah, they might actually feel bad for some disenfranchised group, and that'll ruin the whole scheme.
All are fucking Nazis for real. I blame no one but conservatives here. And like I say, kudos to that motherfucking judge for just doing the right thing. I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I said, public libraries? Am I not paying close enough attention? Like, these are very dangerous moves that are happening. The banning of the books in schools is one, but the banning of and they won't fucking ban guns in schools, you know? And then the banning of the fucking statues, banning of just.
Well, I mean, you just said it. It shows you where their fear truly is, right? They won't ban assault weapons, even though there's been 130 mass shootings in this country this year alone, and it's only April.
Oh my God.
They won't ban assault weapons to actually protect their kids.
Look,
but they will ban books and story time drag hour and this and then drag shows, because we got to protect them. Protect them from what? Protect them from being shot, or protect them from being different. So that's sad. Where their fear is. They'd rather their kids be dead than be different. And that's what's at the heart of it.
Oh, that's a soundbite. Lauren Boebert, she was trying to make a point to Congress, and she brought up like wolf attacks, right? And there's like 36 wolf attack people die from wolf attacks. I don't know. It was something about how we need to be basically more afraid of a wolf attack than a gun attack, because out of, you know, the attacks, they've all been deadly and this and that. And then someone called her out and was like, yo, there's been 36 wolf attacks in the world in the last 2 decades. You're using this to distract from the fact that kids are dying every fucking week from these guns in these schools. Like, these people are fucking crazy. I don't even know what to say. It's hard to even follow it anymore, to be quite honest, or talk about, because it's like, if you don't laugh at it, you're gonna cry, you know?
Well, I put after that latest shooting in Nashville, which is where I'm moving. So I was really,
So Tennessee is fucking up. Where you moving? Because they just banned the drag shows too. No drag shows for Terry.
well, no drag shows in public places. So gay bars still fine. But
Private drag. Perfect.
yeah, that's right. But and again, it's all just hysterical political posturing. That's it. They just want their base to see, I'm doing something about it. Somebody said something about a drag show story time, which again, I don't care. At least kids are reading, you know. So but I mean, I put a post up. I said, you know, when I was back in the 90s and the 80s, when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, we had an assault weapons ban. The world didn't fall apart. You weren't allowed to own an AR-15. That was for the military. That was for the police. Everybody knew that. And it was fine. It was absolutely fine. It wasn't until the early 2000s that they lifted that ban, and that's when all this crazy shit started happening.
Yep.
It's since they lifted that ban, mass shootings are up 72%. It's not a mystery what the problem is. We know what the answer is, but they will tap dance around it and blame everything under the sun. They'll distract with wolf attacks, or they'll say it's mental health. And then you say, okay, well, if it is a mental health issue, maybe we should fund mental health clinics. Well, I mean, we can't. Then they'll just say, well, we can't do that. You know, there's no money for that. There's no money. There's only money to subsidize more AR-15s getting made, which is insane.
Don't let the shooter be transgendered, because then guess what? Oh, it's transgendered. See, we told y'all. Like, what?
Yeah, 1 out of like 5,000. All right, yeah, it's definitely the issue.
It's just white males that are doing it. The majority. It's just like you can't win with them because they're just not logical whatsoever. But
well, you can't even argue, because you can't argue. You can't have an argument without logic and reason. You two people in an argument have to be on board with the same agreement that we're in reality and this is the facts, and then we can argue our opinions based on those facts. But we can't, because there are no facts anymore.
Yeah, you can't argue with them no more, because they don't even want you reading books. So all right, I guess that's enough politics for now. Why don't we interview our guest, Gabby?
It was a rough segment of politics. It's a lot there, huh?
Yeah.
These damn kids.
I'd like to welcome our guest, Gabby Larusso. She's a local stand-up comedian, a man-eater, and your HR point of contact.
Thank you for having me.
BlameGirl podcast, Gabby.
Thank you for having me. Can you guys see me? I feel like the lighting in here, damn daylight saving time.
It is pretty dark.
It did get dim.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you guys should have just said something. I'll move around. I don't give a shit.
Well, we want people to see your face.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna have to work then behind my.
No, my lighting's terrible, but I'm kind of stuck because I'm plugged in. But anyway, so Gabby, how long have you been doing comedy?
Oh boy, I must have started 5-6 years ago. I was at this point in my life where I really needed something to laugh about. And I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy, try my hand at it once or twice. And I genuinely believed that the way to get into stand-up comedy was just to show up at an open mic and, it would all come out naturally. But instead, I accidentally stumbled upon one of the improv classes or, that they teach to do your first 5 minutes and then they put you on stage at the end of the 6-week class. So I walked into the first class. She said, come back next class with the money. And if you want to stay, if not, I'll see you never, probably. So I came back the next week and then I got my first 5 minutes at the Palm Beach Improv.
Who was hosting when you took your classes?
Trey Maddox.
Okay.
Yeah, Trey Maddox.
Okay, yeah. I did classes, but I was in Ramon's classes, and it was almost 5 years. Like in October, it'll be 5 years for me. So I think that was a great way to get started. Personally, I'm glad I found that way because I don't know that I would have started any other way. I didn't know about open mics or anything like that until I went to the improv. So since you've been doing it, what's your favorite venue to perform at?
Well,
Oh, wait,
up
and you
until
cannot say.
You can't say the improvs. It's too easy.
Oh, okay. I wasn't. Thanks. I would say as of late, unfortunately, the coop just closed down, but that was my favorite spot. It was so small and intimate, and you could focus on the one thing, and there weren't a lot of distractions. And I really liked that place. And aside from that, I haven't been to a lot of different open mics lately. I do really love to go to Spanx though, because every time I come home, I smell like brisket every time.
The brisket's good at Spanx.
Yeah. But those, that's Saturday shows at the Coop and then open mics at Spanx. Those would be some of my favorite, I guess, venues that I frequent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. We just tell everybody you can't say the improv because it's too easy. And
And everybody would pick it. It's
speaking of the improv, I'm actually, you might be wondering where I'm at. I'm at the Dania Improv. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. But Gabby, what have you traveled to do comedy at all, or?
No, not myself. I did date a comedian for a while, and we went over to Fort Worth, and I'm sorry, not Fort Worth, Fort Myers and Tampa and stuff like that. But no, I have never actually traveled to do comedy. Just like the farthest I've been invited was Miami.
You wouldn't go up if you were out of because the way I got started doing it out of town is like just doing the open mics whenever I go home to Austin. Are you? We'll get. But yeah, so when you went with, the comedian you dated, did you ever try to do an open mic while you were out of town or no?
Yeah, there were a few instances. We did go on a cruise. We went on a couple cruises, and I love cruises because I like getting drunk on the ocean, and they have microphones that they're just passing out to people. It seems like it's a party. So I tried to get him to let me do it a few times on the cruise, but he told me no. But I'd do it. I'd do it. I'd get up there. Yeah.
All right. So since you've been doing comedy, what has been your favorite moment?
Oh, my favorite moment.
Yeah, or your proudest moment.
My proudest moment. Oh boy. That's a good one. My proudest moment. I guess it would have been, wow, I really can't think about that one. I can tell you a lot of my not proud moments, that's for sure. That's an easy one. I would say that some of my proudest moments would have been at the Robot Brewing Co. There was this one time that I had to deal with somebody interjecting, I guess, from the crowd. And I'm not really like a crowd work type of person. I don't really converse back. I kind of get up on stage and I zone out. I look in the black spot and I just say what I know I'm going to say. So it catches me off guard when somebody talks to me on stage as if that's what I'm there to do. So this one time I had kind of blanked out for a second and I heard this girl say very loudly, "Oh, that's so embarrassing." And I looked up at her. I was like, we can all hear you say that. And it got a big laugh out of it. But that was the only time. I would say I was really proud about my ability to zone back into the real moment and not be off in a different planet and pull it together, I guess.
That one moment of crowd work
the heckling, dealing with a heckler.
The one time I ever had to deal with a heckler, yeah.
But I get that because that can be a big challenge. That's what I was going to ask you next. What has been your biggest challenge?
I don't know what y'all are talking about. That's my favorite thing, is dealing with hecklers. That's my favorite.
Well, it's good if you're in the moment with that too. I'm always afraid that I'm going to say something that's just
you're going to go all
right thing. What?
Like you're going to mess up like Kramer did?
I guess. I don't know what I expect myself to do, but I'm sure I'm already doing it while I'm up there.
I know what you mean. It's just like it gets you off because like if you have a rhythm and your delivery and if you're writing material, you ain't got time to be like addressing this nigga right here. You know what I mean? Like you just want to do your jokes. But some people are good at crowd work, like Terry, you would be good at that. And so that's why it's a little bit, you may be hoping for somebody to say something to you. And but I don't like when people interject.
Well, it's not that I'm hoping for it. It's like, it's not that I'm hoping for it. It's just when it happens, like, especially if it's near the punchline, because, you know, it's like trying to hit a baseball, you know, like it's
Yeah.
like being in the batter's box. You can have somebody interrupt here, but you can't have somebody interrupt here and expect it to
The
go
timing
okay.
of the interruptions, everything. You're right about that.
Right, right. But
also
when
your
somebody
comeback.
heckles me like that and throws me off, there's a part of me on the inside that's like, yay, I get to be really, really mean to somebody and not have to feel bad about it, you know? Because you just ruined my joke. So now instead of getting that laugh, you're my new laugh. You're my replacement laugh.
Got it.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
No, I like it. I wish that I could change my mind so quickly, but I'm not like dropping the hat like that. If somebody interrupts me, I kind of just look at them and I stare at them and I make them stop talking. I make it very uncomfortable for them. I'm like, shh. But that's just
That's
me.
a good way to do it too. Just stare at them until they stop. Be like, I would be terrified if somebody did that to me. I'd be like, oh God, they're gonna kill me in the parking lot.
You know what I started doing is just yelling at people. I think that's just who I am because I would do that anyway. So I'm just like, you know, close that door.
I've had it to where they wouldn't stop talking, and I was like, I have a microphone, you don't. I'm gonna win. And then every time they went to address me, I just went like that into the microphone.
Fucking
It's
ass.
like we can just we can get as petty as you want to get.
Do you have anything for Gabby, Terry, before I ask?
I do. I'll do it after your blame.
I don't have a blame yet. I was just gonna ask her what were her biggest
I
challenges.
got a blame for her.
Well, I'm not at the blame yet, Terry.
Well, that's why I said I wait till after.
But you don't have anything to ask her about being a comedian.
No, not necessarily. Do you feel like being a woman in comedy has held you back?
No. What?
Thank you.
Not at all.
Reasonable woman, good head on her shoulders.
Not the
I
fuck
like
at all. Right. No, I do not think that has happened for me.
Okay.
What has been your challenge?
Well, we ask every female guest comedian.
What's been your challenge if it's not being a female comedian?
My biggest challenge, I would say right now, it's like how bad this lighting is getting. Hold on one second.
Why is the lighting constantly changing?
Right. I'm just trying to.
Oh, because the sunset. Okay.
Yeah, because I live here and I don't, usually use all my electricity on the same day. But yeah, so the sun was setting, the fucking time change. It always gets me messed up about this time of year anyway. And then in 6 months, it'll do it again. So what was the question that you asked me?
I said, what has been your biggest challenge as a comedian?
Getting back into it after the pandemic. When I took off time to do the pandemic, it was a lot of time, and getting back with a whole new crowd and a whole new set of faces and a whole new set of venues and open mics, and it's everything's different, but everything's the same, including my old jokes. So it's just getting back into the rhythm of writing and finding people that you're compatible with and helping to tag up your own jokes by being around the people that understand your humor. So I guess just getting back into it has really been the hardest for me.
I think that's been the case for many of comedians. Like even though we're in Florida, many comedians did not come out. I know I was at the mics like crazy as soon as we were allowed, but I'm reckless, I don't have kids or has a freedom to die, as Mendemo says. So I was just out here. But a lot of comedians that did affect them. And then I even feel bad for the ones that didn't live here. But I know I did a few like Zoom Zoom shows and stuff like that. But it's not the same. It's just not the same.
No,
All right,
Zoom
Yeah.
shows suck so much.
you're not great.
What's
I
the
love it.
point of
I
even
did,
doing that?
I even did one at the Arts Garage where they had us come in and then they had a screen and people were commenting. It was pretty cool, but it was still like, oh my God, this sucks. There's no audience that's like, you
That
know,
yeah,
you don't
that
have that.
energy that you get from the audience, in my opinion at least, that's the only reason to even do this is like
Yep.
that's where your love comes from.
If
That's
you
where
don't give them some type of a laugh button where they can actually audibly laugh, because I need the audible laughs. I don't need that. You know, it's cool if you're laughing behind. I can't. And then part of the energy, like the energy at a show when everyone's laughing together, makes it even just better for everybody, not just the comedian. Like even as a consumer of comedy, I prefer to be in there at the show.
Well, yeah, but even like those pandemic shows that they did do, like I know Bert Kreischer's pretty much the one that started it, where they was just booking shows at drive-ins, like drive-in movie theaters,
Mhm.
and everybody stayed in their cars, and to laugh, quote unquote, they would honk or they would flash their lights, and I'm like, that's close, I guess, but still
If
not
I can
even
get
the same.
it's the laughing, that's the whole point of the job.
Well, yeah,
But
well, that's that energy coming at you,
so,
So.
Gabby, tell us about you as a person. Where are you from? Do you have a day job, family? Do you have any other projects you can tell us about?
Well, right now my only project is just keeping my head above water all the time. But I'm born and raised here in West Palm. So I've been local my entire life, but I've lived all over South Florida. I do have a day job. I do water conservation for South Florida. And I like telling people that I'm saving the planet because I am, but it just doesn't seem like that important in people's minds here in Florida yet. But they'll see one day.
Floridians do care about their water. I will say that they won't.
Well, yeah, not as much as Californians do, though, huh?
I mean, we let a little sugar cane in it, but
Yeah,
Yeah, just a
that's
few chemicals,
a little bit.
just a few chemicals, just enough to, ruin shit.
You got to have a little kick to it. It's Florida.
Yeah, just a little carcinogen, just a little
Yeah.
cancer causing shit,
So I don't do that. I do water conservation. So saving South Florida billions of gallons of fresh potable water for drinking every year just by being
Yeah.
cute.
So that's why the lights were an issue, because you were conserving.
No, there's still an
Electricity.
issue too. I know it. I didn't set this up ahead of time and I didn't realize it would get dark so fast. But
Gotcha.
yeah, no, it doesn't have anything to do with the lights. Smart ass.
You know it. You know that one's gonna be a smart ass. All right. Do you want to tell people how they can follow you or where they can catch you coming up? You gonna be out?
I am going to be on this podcast, and that's really the only thing that I've had for comedy set up. But I do intend on getting back out into open mics now that, it's summertime. I got all this energy back. But you can follow me on Instagram. It's Hella_Gabriella, and Gabriella is with 2 L's.
All right. Wait, what open mics are you gonna be at coming up? Do you have any clue or?
Well, I'm here in Deerfield, so I'm trying to probably stay local, Pompano, Deerfield, Boca, anything that I can find. I really would like to start venturing out to like new things and like smaller open mics just to get that intimate vibe back instead of, larger clubs that do, open like all arts and stuff like that. So I would like to try to, what's that?
I was gonna say Arts Garage is Tuesday.
Okay. I'm happy to take anybody's open mic advice or just locations and show up at them at least once, try anything once.
Yeah, it's in Delray. It's not Boca, but it's a little further north. But
all right, that's not far from me either.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So are you ready to play the blame game?
I think so. I don't know how this goes, but I'm gonna handle it as best as I can.
Just wing it. You'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. So you post some of the best thirst traps, Gabby. Who's to
Thank
blame?
I don't even know where to start. My mom, I would say.
She
Yeah, I
taught
would
you
blame my mom.
she taught you how to hit them angles.
Well, yeah, Gio, you've been to my parents' house. You see what she does with her photography skills. It's
Yes.
all pictures of her looking good. And so I would say I definitely get that from my mom, and it's a lack of shame that I'm going to put on myself about it. I would also blame the internet, social media. All of these girls have this access to do it themselves and get paid for it, and that's great. But I don't want to do all that. I just want to take out my butt once in a while and put it on the whole internet for everybody to see for free.
I love it so much. I should put my butt on more, but I don't.
It's a little bit of a public service thing that I feel like I'm getting after, even though that's definitely not what it is.
Yeah, I just went for the whole 9 yards and went on OnlyFans and called it a day. Like,
Yeah, that takes balls, and I just don't have those balls. My balls are different.
My thirst traps that I post on social media are they're not. I do them, but not often. It'll be like my last one was probably Christmas. I was getting ready to post one today because I did that show at Red Light last night and I had the girls out.
Mm.
So I've got some.
It's so funny.
What?
I didn't know that was your blame for her, but that's what I was going to say earlier. I'm like, what's with all the thirst traps lately? Now that you're single, you out there advertising?
Why was that going to
Yeah.
be yours? Oh, because she posted that, because I don't know if you do follow her at Hella Gabriella. She posted about the thirst traps after she got the show outlined because she knew that was going to be asked. So,
well, to be fair, I posted
just so
a
you know,
picture.
if you do follow Gabby, you're gonna get these occasional snaps of Gabby in the mirror and
From the back, yeah.
yeah. Just look at so I'm
To
just
be
saying.
fair,
Hey, we're all enjoying. Keep going.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
In my defense, if not now, then when? And also, I look at myself. What?
But you don't need to defend it.
No,
Well,
nobody's attacking you.
Show us
okay,
your
no,
work.
I don't feel attacked in any way. But this is how I think of it when I'm looking at a photo of half my ass out. Like, Gabby, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, Gabby, if not now, then when?
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it.
Exactly.
We're gonna look any better in the future. We don't know. We don't know if it's gonna be here in the future. So show it now. The time is now.
Every single day is how often I do it. So
don't
record
your
yourself as much as possible. When you're hot, you're gonna need that one day when you tell your kids or your grandkids, like, hey, I used to be hot. Here's the proof.
I got pictures on stand. Anyway.
I know I'm all wrinkly now, but
all right, Terry, what are your words for white people this week?
Well, I was real tempted to make it about Trump's indictment. So I'm just going to leave a moment here for everyone to enjoy Teflon Don actually having to face even the smallest amount of consequences for his action. Isn't that nice? That's nice and lovely. But unfortunately, I can't, because yet again, another mass shooting. So once again, guys, all my fellow honkies, let's talk about guns again. I am not a proponent of getting rid of the Second Amendment. Now, nor do I think it's even possible. To seize guns and make them illegal is absolutely ridiculous. It would be a huge slight to the Constitution. Not only that, it would be a giant problem, and a lot of people would stand their ground against the government, and they would die tragically, obviously, because I know you love your guns, but you don't have any drones, so you lose, because one drone beats 1,000,000 guns, It's
gonna be a war if we did that.
Right. So I just want to remind everybody my personal position on this. I don't have a problem with guns. I'm a gun owner myself. I was raised around guns with hunting and fishing and shooting sports and all those things. I don't have a problem with them. However, as we stated before, I do have a problem with assault weapons, because assault weapons are designed and built for one purpose and one purpose only. You can't claim that you're using it for hunting, because if you need an AR-15 to kill a deer, you shouldn't be hunting. It's not necessary. Assault weapons are made for one reason and one reason only, and that is to kill other human beings. That's the only job. That's the only reason they've ever been designed. It's to kill other. They are weapons of war. And if you say, well, I think I should have the right to own it. Okay, well, where do we draw the line? How about plastic explosives? Should you be able to own that? No, why? Because that's too dangerous. Can't just let people have plastic explosives. Well, let me tell you, with my training and experience, if you gave me an AR-15 and about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 clips worth of ammo, it's a lot more dangerous in my hand. I can kill a lot more people than a pound of plastic explosive in most people's hands. So when it comes to that, you just have to admit that you love your guns more than you love your kids. That just has to be the truth, because it keeps happening over and over and over again. Take the assault weapons away and mass shootings will drop by 72%. We know that for a fact, because when we took away the ban, they went up by 72%. Make them illegal again. Keep your shotguns, keep your rifles, keep your pistols. That's all fine and good. You're not killing 50 people with a shotgun or a bolt action rifle or a handgun. You're just not doing it. They're not powerful enough, and they don't have the ammo, or they don't have the ammo capacity. They don't have the shooting. They don't have the fire rate or the reloadability. Just admit the fact that you don't give a shit that this is happening, because you enjoy taking your AR out and having fun on Saturdays. At least that's a valid argument, because you know that that's true. You know, if we got rid of these things, that mass shootings would go down. You know that. So if you're still saying, don't take my assault weapon, don't take my assault weapons, then just admit you're on the other side of this argument. There's no nuance. Don't talk to me about wolves or mental illness or bullshit like that. You're just on the side of, I love my guns more than I love the safety of children or people in crowded areas. That's it.
I cannot disagree with those words, Terry. It's getting old, and I just don't know.
Well, it's not even that it's getting old. I'm tired of the excuses and the bullshit.
I don't know what it's going to take. Yeah.
I'm just so tired of hearing, well, yeah, it's a tragedy, but what are you going to do? You know exactly what to do. Don't treat me like an idiot. Don't pander to me.
Do you do comedy before you leave South Florida?
Yes.
You got anything coming up?
Huh?
You got anything coming up?
I don't, but next week I'll be doing my last show in South Florida. I haven't really decided where, but it will just be a regular open mic. Unless there's a booker there that wants to put me on some show, that would be better. But I've been so busy with the move and trying to get all this stuff lined up that, not to mention my niece is getting married on a week from Saturday. So I'm dealing with that too.
Trying to be there by Saturday then?
Well, we're going to be there on Thursday night.
Okay, good.
Next Thursday night, we'll be there. So.
Right. All right. Well, I've got coming up tonight. I'm here at 14 North. It's right next to the Dane Improv. I'm going to be hosting the open mic at 9:00. It's capped at 12 spots. So if you want to get here, get here. And then Thursday, I am in the Intrepid Events contest finale. It's going to be at the OG in Delray. And then Friday, I am in Fort Myers, Florida, and you have to go to my social media because I can't remember the name. But that's what I have coming up this week. So come out and see me. All right, guys. Until